Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 69. Just take a second to let that settle in for a second there. Episode number 69 of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast. Happy Halloween, everyone. I am your host. I was going to make a ghost with the most Beetlejuice joke. Gave up on that halfway through. I'm Lagwyn, and I'm here with Bromms. Actually, I'm here with Bromms and Sailor Jupiter, a.k.a. Naveen.
Hello, everybody.
It's gonna be one of those shows.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, it is. It's gonna be one of those shows, guys. Just so you know, if anything, from what we talked about prior, it's gonna be rough. God.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Stop being so kawaii. Or is that how you pronounce that?
Kawaii, Bromms, get with the program.
Sorry. Oh, God.
So anyway, guys.
I got chocolate milk.
Just so everybody knows, Naveen had like a pile of rockets before the show started. So
Hey.
we're on sugar rush mode.
Yum 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 yum.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Case in point. Case in point.
people in the chat, Browns, want to know why you're not dressed up like the rest of them.
I have a good reason, and it's because it's really boring though. Do you really? I had to move a bunch of stuff over to my parents' house.
Make up
because
a
of
better
watching-
story.
All right. Well, I was in costume, but then when I was fighting the supervillain, all of my costume got damaged. So right now it's in the superhero repair place, and I'm in my street clothes. But don't tell anyone that I'm a superhero.
Bromms is dressed as a hobo.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Hobo.
What?
Offensive, maybe.
He's a pretty hobo.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Also, he has his hobo dog behind him.
Yeah.
Hobo dogs.
Every hobo has a dog. Don't you know that? Get with the program.
There's several dogs. Anyway.
Caramon says telephone booth is behind the door there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Anyway. On this week's show, we're going to just be...
Hyperactive!
Yes.
Okay, I'll stop screaming.
Halloween. Halloween shenanigans, as you can clearly see. But we'll also be talking about the new patch that just came out on Tuesday. The Tower of Nightmares. So, we had a question of the week last week that Naveen put out. I don't believe we had any responses.
No one likes my question.
Sorry, Naveen. I guess it must just have to come from this guy.
Does that mean that everyone watching has to pay us gold then? Is that how
Well, that would be great. If we could somehow... No, that would be mean. We're not like that.
Oh. Well, I quit then.
Hey,
Alright.
you're not allowed.
Anyway. So, let's start right off with Naveen. What meme is this show brought to us by?
This episode 69 of CoTPodcast is brought to you by the meme. I don't always lock my son in a box for centuries, but when I do, I stuff his mouth with candy corn first. Okay, that was a really bad impression about the Mad King, but it's about the Mad King. It's a
That was
meme
great.
about the Mad King because he locked his son in a box full of candy corn. Get the program. Killers 2. Lord.
In case you wanted a more literal and understandable translation of what Naveen just said,
What?
check out the most recent lorecast that came out yesterday that Bromms and I did, revisiting Mad King Thorn. We talked about him last Halloween. We brought it back for this Halloween to update it with stuff we learned last year and stuff from this year. So check that out.
What?
Nothing. I got...
Once per year.
Yeah, I know. It's all good. So,
Okay.
we're going to start out with some shout-outs. Actually, let's go... Bromms, do you have any shout-outs?
No, I don't. Sorry, I'm boring this week.
Doggy! Careful, there's a dog who's gonna attack you. Nope,
Oh, no.
he changed his mind.
He's gonna lick me to death.
All right, Naveen, how about you? Shout outs.
I have a shout out to everyone. Happy Halloween. I also have a shout
The
out.
sugar.
I took a love at insulin. Shout out to my son. It is not Guild Wars 2 related, but he was the coolest kid on the block with this costume because he was a baby Mario on a Yoshi. Look at him. He's so cute. Sorry for those listening on the podcast. You can't see him. I'll put a picture somewhere.
Holy crap, that's adorable.
And he's holding an umbrella because it was pouring rain, but we were trick-or-treating anyways.
Yeah.
So it's a baby Mario. Hello.
Happened here too. So, all right. Well, thank you, Naveen.
You're welcome.
I actually have a couple of shout outs. We got quite a few comments on the last show that we did about the preview about the crate. We got a lot of comments. So I'm just gonna flip through a couple of these real quick. A lot of people are saying, we had a lot of people coming in saying, I'm from, I saw the Mad Visual episode, so I came here, or Wooden Potatoes to Mad Visual to you guys, or something of that. We had a couple people say, I was here before the Mad Visual episode, and I'm still here now. So thank you for you guys that came with
You
your
guys
own
rock! Okay.
I've officially subbed. Your podcasts are awesome. This is Kill Chained on YouTube. KK, I've officially subbed. Your podcasts are awesome. For Champion Farms, always listening, but I've never subbed before. Keep it up. Many hearts from down under. Because we mentioned about our Australian, how many people we had that listened from Australia. And we had Shad ZTA24. I'm not in Guild because I'm not on Tarnished Coast, but I'm Australia and love your podcast.
I love you too.
Just because you're not on Tarnished Coast does not mean you can't join our guild. It just means you can't world v world with us. You can guest over to our server and still run around and play. We do have some members for the longest time that were guested that would come around and do guild missions and run around with us in game. Finally made the switch, but the only thing it affected was world versus world.
Yeah.
Thanks for the shout out. That's how you say my name. Could you link the DeviantArt? And we did that. We linked Saune's DeviantArt in the description last week, which will lead me into another shout I'm going to have this week that I will link again in the description.
Thanks for the shout out. Was a person who has a XOEAI name.
How did you know how to pronounce that?
I think so.
Because I'm half Chinese. What? No, I'm
No,
not.
actually, this is Alternal
something.
Yeah, anyway. We did get a lot of people commenting that at the beginning of the show I said, hey guys, this is going to be a short show this week, and then it shows up as 2.5 hours when you go to watch it.
But there's only
In
1
my
hour left.
defense, the show was only an hour and 11 minutes.
Yeah.
The after show was an hour and a half, which I have since updated to put an annotation at the beginning that says the show's only an hour. If you want to skip to the after show, click this link. It'll take you to the end. So, yeah, that happened. Someone, Fishbait, handed Naveen over some internet cookies and milk. Sailor cookies.
He's like Cookie Monster. Heck yes.
Yeah. Multi-personality.
He says you could always macro/jump and bind it to your spacebar in Guild Wars 1 to try to make it so you could go back and play.
But that's not jumping. It is jumping, but it's not jumping.
Okay. CH Poet? I don't know. He added the three of us to, or she added the three of us to their 3DS friend codes.
And I totally
Yes.
saw that message and I forgot to add, and I'm sorry. I will do that as soon as possible, I promise. I love you.
Yeah, and then again, just a couple other people saying, I've been subbing for a while. So just again, thank you to all of our new subscribers that Matt Visual helped bring over to us, and thank you to everybody that's been with us from the beginning and stuck around. We're over 435 subscribers right now.
I'll have you know that Kill Chain watches my stream on Guild Wars 2 Live.
Oh man.
So maybe I brought him to here.
Maybe.
You're welcome.
Well,
Lagwyn, open that sucker for me. I can't with these gloves.
Okay.
Uh,
How did that happen? I don't understand.
These gloves.
They're like
slippery.
satin silk gloves. They're very slippery.
Yeah, but wow. I need to get me a pair of those.
Forgot to
Anyway,
bring back my mic with me.
I think a lot of people in the chat are saying you should probably stop. You're cut off of candy.
But it's the only time of year I have so many. What?
Did you
Okay.
eat candy corn, Naveen?
No, I did not.
Good.
Yet.
Good.
I
That's
can't
why you're
open
not
it.
sick. Ugh. Gross.
Listen. I'm a diabetic. This is my only day where I say screw diabetes. Screw you, insulin. No, it's not screw you. Because I will die if I don't take it. But
Alright, anyway.
I won! Sorry.
My other shout out, again, to Saune, who is watching us live in the chat. I'm going to link it in the description. I'm going to link it here on the stream. Naveen, if you could pull this up on your end, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
This, I just linked it. This is the most recent
Oh.
art she came up with. It was a COT Halloween pinup that she did of a lot of the female characters in our guild.
Oh.
Super cool too.
Yeah, it would have been cooler if I would be there.
Well,
I'm
you
kidding.
weren't.
This is awesome. Wait. Let me go to miscellaneous. Bye, baby Mario. And I'll just add a screen region. And I... Booyah.
Yep. Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Wow.
Boom.
Ow. This is... Oh, I know why my character's not there. Because she's small-breasted. Have you seen all these... Even the Silvaria has big boobs. What is up with that?
Yeah, Bromms. What's up with that?
She doesn't though.
It's Joel's.
No. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I'm talking about the green one laying down on the ground. That's Bromms.
Oh. Bromms,
Joel's
you're
on the top of the
sexy,
pumpkin.
Silvaria.
I know.
Yeah, don't feel bad, Naveen. I'm not there either.
I
So
don't
neither
care.
is. So don't
You
feel
don't
bad.
even have a female character.
I have 16. By odds alone, I have 16 characters. One of them has to be female. Several of them are.
Not really.
But-
Well-
not if you made all male characters.
Most of them have beards, okay?
2 of them have beards.
Most.
2 out of 16.
Whatever.
Here at COT, we don't like math, but we like candy.
Ah.
Yes. Nobody really likes math anyway.
No.
It's
Except
gross.
For Asians.
Except for
Asians
what?
love math.
Let's not stereotype.
I
Live
married a Chinese. It's okay for me to say that.
Oh god.
What?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all.
I was...
Anyway, so Saune, again, thank you. That was amazing art that she did. Unfortunately, I don't believe that one was done during one of the podcasts.
If
she
it
does-
would have been...
She said
I
it
would've
took
been
her
very
like 80
impressed.
hours, I think,
Yeah,
which is crazy awesome. Yeah. So.
yeah. She normally, all of the other previous ones, if you look up the speed, the speed art pictures, you'll see the podcast ones. They're amazing. So this one, we've seen what she could do in about an hour. Now we've seen what she can do with a lot of time. So pretty awesome.
She's amazing.
So, yes.
Totally fangirling.
We'll be keeping an eye on her in the future. So.
I need a jelly hat. I don't have one. I could be jelly. You know. I don't need to make good jokes. It's Halloween.
All right. Okay, so I think that's it for our shoutouts. Naveen, do we get anything on iTunes?
Mm-mm.
No?
iTunes people, love you. Please rate our show. Give us 5 stars because we love them stars. Leave a few comments. Say what up, and I will say this person said what up.
Yes.
Those are all things that will be said.
Huh.
Maybe just like that. So I don't know. New stuff in the gem store. You guys, did you?
Yes. So
what do you
much
think?
stuff.
We got 3 new armors. We got new weapon skins out of Black Lion chests, a new finisher, and just a reminder: all of last year's Halloween costumes plus this year's Halloween costumes are still available. I think until next week.
There's one thing missing:
What's that?
the paper bag masks.
Yeah, what the heck?
Where
Where are the
are
paper
they?
bags? I woke up this morning literally like bouncing around because I thought they were gonna be there today, and I got on, and the only thing I was all day was disappointed.
Aww.
I know, it's sad. I
yeah.
actually cried.
Now, I would like to point out to everyone, yet again, that just because something has been data mined and there are chat codes, does not mean that they're in the game or will be in the game anytime soon.
Mhm.
If you recall, the nunchucks that you could find for Super Adventure Box 2
Nunch.
were data mined from Super Adventure Box 1. And we didn't have them till 6 months down the line. So, in fact, there were other weapons as well. There was the pointy stick, there was a stick with a nail through it, nunchucks, and a sword on fire. And none of the stick with a nail through it and the sword on fire were not available. So they might show up later on for the next Super Adventure Box, but sometimes we'll see something come in from one patch before, and then immediately the next patch it's there. But
All I'm saying is, if we don't get those paper bags, there's gonna be, I'm gonna be really upset and sad.
Oh,
And you don't want to see me when I'm upset and sad.
we
It'll be
could
like
get
this,
them.
but worse.
Right.
I know, right?
But worse.
I mean, we might get them next Halloween for all we know.
No, don't. No, we're getting them soon. I can sense it.
Well, they are extending this stuff for like 2 weeks. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, yeah, Halloween stuff doesn't leave until the 12th of November, I believe. So there's time between now and then that could possibly show up, but it doesn't really make too much sense to do that after the fact.
Maybe what's gonna happen is for the next story thing, Casimir's gonna put one over her head and say, "Look, I look better now," and then they'll be available for us too, so we can look like Casimir. That sounds legit, right?
Totally. She's gonna be like, I'm perspiring.
I'm hot and I need a bag on my head. Oh, Casimir.
Anyway, so, but what did you guys think of so much stuff weighing down these glasses? What did you guys think of let's start with the armor skins, 3 new armor skins that were available in the gem store.
Go, Bromms, I choose you. Oh, look at this. Bromms, I choose you. There you go.
They are not horrible. They weren't really. Well, I was looking at the medium, obviously,
Right.
and it wasn't really anything that fit my character, but it wasn't bad. I wasn't sold on the heavy armor until I actually saw Amy from our guild that she had it on, and just the way she had it colored, it looked incredible. Like it didn't look like that when I previewed it. So I really like the heavy armor now that I've seen it with good colors. But the other 2 I was kind of lukewarm on, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Naveen?
I love the stuff, and I wish I was rich, 'cause I would have it all. The heavy armor is one of my favorites for the human male. Oh my god, my husband right away got that one, and it is really, really, really nice. It really actually looks like heavy armor that you would smash a hammer or swing a sword at, and it wouldn't break. It really looks cool. One thing that I was very surprised about is medium armor for females. There are
Wow.
no trench coats.
Yeah.
What?
I know, it's
What?
weird.
I was like, that is awesome.
How about the fact that the medium armor pants for a dude are pants, and for chicks it's just this miniskirt.
It actually is shorter than the shirt, which is
Yes.
weird.
Yes,
So
it
it looks
is.
like yeah. I think that's kind of what I didn't like about it. I might have liked it more actually if they were pants, but I don't know. I mean, I've a lot of people are running around with them, so they must have liked them. They're just not really my thing, but
Didn't you guys already know that the less you wear, the more protected you are?
of course. That's
Well,
why
something
every
that
time I
says-
go to battle, I run in naked. I joined the police force, so I have my costume ready. It's yeah. All right, guys, we're going in. Strip. It's the best way.
Interesting.
I would like to point out that yes, they do seem to be liked, because for at least at one point on Tuesday, if you had 100 gems, which is the lowest amount you could trade in to get gold, 100 gems was trading in for over 5 gold.
That is too much.
So I mean, that's a lot of money you could make if you'd bought gems and saved them. If you were just looking to buy gems for the sole purpose of getting gold to do whatever you wanted with that, that would have been the time, because this is the biggest spike I've seen in gems to gold prices, I think, ever. I think that might be the record high, over 5 gold per 100 gems.
It's pretty crazy now.
Yeah, so if you were the kind of person, you're like, I like spending money, real world money, to buy gems to then convert to in-game gold, now's the time to do it, really, because I don't know how much better, unless they come out with super great Christmas Winter's Day skins. I don't see it getting too much higher than that. But I don't know. All right, how about let me talk about my preferences on the armor. With every piece of Gemstar armor, as it seems to have been so far, I don't like them as sets. As piecing out different pieces of the armor and mixing them with other existing things, mixing them with other Gemstar armor, yeah, I think as individual pieces they look good. As a full armor set, other than, like Naveen said, the heavy armor set for I was going to say for a human male, but it's the same for human male, Sylvari male, Char male and female, Norn male, and Asura male and female. It's the same skin, just scaled to size. So the only one that gets it different is female Norn, female human, female Sylvari. So,
I have to wonder if they would make more money if they did sell those armor pieces as individual pieces. Because I think there's a lot of people that would pay like 200 gems or 100 gems to buy one piece that they really wanted out of those armor sets, instead of dropping 700 to 800 gems on the whole set. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I know there's been a couple where I saw one piece I really liked and I would like to get it, but it just seems silly to buy the whole armor set for that one piece. But I don't know how realistic that is either.
yeah, I mean, I've lucked out, with the exception of some of the previous armors that I have purchased. But for the most part, I've lucked out that if I buy an armor set, I can take, like, this piece goes on this character, like the chest piece. And then, like, I'll take the boots and put them on a different character. And I usually can end up getting rid of an entire set of armor, which helps me outfit, 5 characters. So at this rate, with 16 alts and only 3, new Gemstore armors every 6 months, in, like, 2 years from now, I'll be good. Yeah. All my characters will have armor.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I recommend playing around with them. They do look, at least go to the PvP locker or whatever and test them out. They look pretty cool, some of them. Some look a little weird. I can almost get the robot legs on my my female engineer, but still not yet.
Not quite.
All right, Dream Thistle weapons, the new Black Lion claim ticket weapons that are available currently for 1 ticket. What do you guys think?
I didn't preview them all, but those I saw looked pretty cool.
Bromms?
Yeah, I liked them quite a bit. The bow specifically was one of the few bows recently that I have considered switching out for the Dragon Bash longbow that I have. I don't know if it's the same with all the weapons, but I think it is. They have kind of that glow effect when you equip them, and I love the weapons that do that. And they're starting to do that more and more, which is awesome. But yeah, I think they look great.
Yeah, my thoughts are, after looking and previewing all of them, I really wish Necros could use a greatsword. Because that greatsword, I feel, is like perfect Necro weapon. I actually bought the scepter and the mace, which I like the look of those. And I actually have on my one warrior, I have the mace paired with the Dead Stop shield from Halloween. I like that. It looks pretty good.
I'm glad that these ones were available for only 1 ticket, because I know some of the other ones were like 3 tickets for some reason.
Which
The
ones?
Zodiac weapons, I think, were.
Oh, they might have been. I'm not sure, but
They
I know
were 2 or 3.
the Halloween are still 1 as well. So if you're looking to get Halloween skins, now's the time. And I made the smart decision of buying several, and I'm gonna hide them amongst all other stuff in my bank, so I don't look at them and try to sell them between now and next year.
Yeah.
And hope that they'll roll into some serious money. Because if you look back, those aetherized weapons and things now, like aetherized pistol skins, for instance, huge price increase. So if you held on to those, keep an eye out, because they might be worth something.
I will say, and Lag, you can attest to this because I was complaining about it. I was a little bitter that these were Black Lion weapons, because I feel like a lot of the weapons now are going that way, which I can understand from a certain perspective, because obviously they have to make money. But when the patch first came out, I didn't know that they were Black Lion weapons, and I thought that they were going to be rewards for whatever the tower was, and so that was a little disappointing. But I'm over it now.
Yeah, he was livid.
I was not very happy.
So I'm glad to see he's mellowed out about that.
Just need a little time to chill.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gotta eat some rockets. I'm good. Actually, Smarties, but whatever.
All right. Anyway,
Swifty in the chat room's like, Sarah Naveen is adorbs. Ghostbuster Lagwyn ain't afraid of no ghost. Bromms is.
I'm
Way to go,
I'm
Bromms.
sorry, okay? I have an invisible costume. You can't see it, and it's better than all of them.
Bromms is a hobo.
Yeah. I'm dressed as myself. It's scary.
I think every year dressing as yourself comes up as always at least number 5 on the top 5 costumes to not wear this Halloween. Is dressing as yourself is almost always on the top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Bromms,
Let's
it's cool.
say, in my defense, my costume is downstairs and it's soaking wet. So there's a reason I'm not wearing it, and that is why. I have all this stuff over there too that was the extra stuff that I didn't wear, but anyway, no one cares.
I do.
No one cares.
There
Okay.
was gum in my lollipop.
Whoa. Surprise. It's better than like a vat of acid.
That's commonly what they put in lollipops.
Yeah. Or worse, candy corn.
Bromms.
What? What's that? Every time I say that candy corn is disgusting, are you going to eat some, Lag? Because this could be a fun game.
Maybe not. I'm almost out of candy corn anyway, so.
Oh,
I don't want gum during the show, though, because I'm going to... Yes, allow. A Halloween style. Pretty cool.
Okay.
Just as a heads up to you guys, GW2crafts.net. That was the premier crafting site for your crafting guides. In case you guys weren't aware, they have updated to include 400 plus crafting.
Nice.
So,
Oh God.
Too much sugar.
Top
I
10
totally
songs I-
ignored and interrupted lag. Too much sugar.
At
Going
least I
to
can
sip on
knock
my
thing
hot
off
chocolate.
my things I wanted to see while I was alive.
but anyway, guys, so yes, if you need to do crafting past 400, you can go check out gw2crafts.net. At the top, they have a 400 plus crafting section. So, I definitely recommend doing it rather than trying to do it up by yourself because it's gonna. I mean, I think to do it by the guide is gonna cost you about 80 gold. So to do it on your own, you can only imagine how much that'd cost you if you're gonna make mistakes. So
It's crazy. I tried it on my own for a while up to 450 and it was stupidly expensive because I did not do it the right way.
yes.
Yeah.
So Bromms, you had something in here. Mad King says bug.
Oh, yeah, this is more just a PSA and I think most people are probably aware. But there is a bug that I believe still exists. It did yesterday. If you do Mad King Says, do it with a character that did not do it last year, because if you do it with a character that did it last year, you won't get the mask reward. You only get the candy corn bags. There's like 10. So I know that happened to a couple people that we were playing with. Saune says they fixed it now.
Yep.
So, never mind.
But
Never mind.
when you get the mask, and I thought that was a bug too, but when you get the mask and you redo Mad King, that was so sexy. And you redo.
Oh, God.
It's Halloween. I can do whatever I want. It's not my birthday, but I don't care. I am so feminine. You get the mask more than once on the same character. It's crazy. They call her Sailor Herb. Sailor Herb.
But yeah, funny enough, Bromms, I did the Mad King Says yesterday with a character I did it on last year. I only got the mask. I didn't get anything else. Like I didn't get trick or treat bags for doing, what he said when he said to do it. I didn't get anything for it.
Yeah,
Me
no,
neither.
the trick or treat bags were because I did it
Oh,
with.
it's at the end in the chest, right?
Yeah, that's where the skin is. But then if you do it again with that character, you're supposed to get the trick or treat bags. But a
Oh.
lot of people were doing it with characters that did it last year, and not getting the right reward. But apparently that wasn't updated on the forum thing I was looking at. So now I just look like I'm dumb. So that's what I dressed up for Halloween. A dumb person.
Awesome.
All right,
Yes.
so we're gonna move on then.
So we can just edit out the last 5 minutes, right? That'd be great.
Not editing anything.
We don't edit anymore. We got past that.
Oh, all right, cool.
Anyway, Naveen, did you have any news or things you wanted to talk about, or no?
Yeah. Let me see. There's nothing. Nothing.
Wasn't there
Okay.
something about Oh no, that's later. Never mind.
Okay. Swifty mentioned it there, but yes, you can redo the Bloody Prince battle once a day, and for that battle that takes about a minute, you get 5 champion bags. So, kind of worth to do it for a minute's time to get 5 champion bags.
Mhm.
Maybe we haven't done it enough, and maybe that's where the paper bag masks are.
What?
I don't think so because I haven't seen anybody running around with them yet. But it was count. I don't know if it still is, but it was counting as a champion kill when you did that. So that was
It's
another
also counting as a dungeon as well. So that's how I got my monthly 10 dungeons. I did that 10 times in a row.
Wow.
So there you go. So I guess we all know what time it is.
It's a data mining time with Lagwyn. It's a data mining time, Lagwyn.
Anyway, for a very special Halloween episode of Data
What?
Mining Time,
I'm glad we
we're
used
gonna
the
be this is gonna be some ectoplasmic data mining here.
Yuck.
Yeah, looks like we've got a decent amount of stuff that was data mined. I also can't see anything that's happening in the Twitch channel. I can actually. Saune, I just read what you wrote, Saune. Can you even see lag?
Can you even
Yes,
lift?
I can.
Bro.
do you even lift, dude?
Oh! He's lifting stuff.
Whoa.
Anyway,
I need a
this is
minute.
gonna just beep through the whole show, so let's turn that off. Alright, so I don't know if you guys have seen this. I think most people have. If you've done the story instance, you see that Casimir has this pretty awesome pink staff, and Marjorie has this pretty cool dagger and axe. Have you guys seen those?
Yes!
They're super cool.
So those were data mined. Presumably that they will be rewards of some kind, or maybe loot drops, or maybe they won't even be in at all. But the fact that I'm assuming gem store, because the taglines that go with it says like Casimir staff, Lady Casimir Mead has only this staff to remember her mother and grandmother by. Aw, that's actually kind of, I didn't read that. That's kind of sad.
Life goes on, Lagwyn. It's the circle of life. People die. Get used to it.
I just posted the link data mining information there. Anyway, back over here. Marjorie's axe she inherited this axe from Mendel, a boy she failed to protect. Wow. Just
Now that's
I need
sad.
more candy corn to make myself feel better.
Said no one ever.
For the dagger, it says that she promised Mendel she'd protect this dagger, though she couldn't protect him. Wow.
Marjorie!
More reason why I like her. She's such a
I
badass.
just wanna hug
She is
you.
awesome.
Your mother's-
Also, I like that Casimir calls her Jory. I think
Yeah.
that's I like.
Yeah. She's too buddy-buddy with her. I don't trust that hoe. What?
I'm wondering if there's a little something going on there.
Now,
A little something.
I don't want to. I'm jealous.
Anyway, moving on. The other things that were mined were obviously the Dream Thistle weapon skins, but we've seen those. There's a new dye kit, which I didn't look too hard, but I'm sure you could find it on Reddit. There's going to be similar to what we had for the necrotic dyes and the flame and frost dyes, where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new dyes.
Are those the purple ones?
Yeah, what are they calling them? The toxic dye kit, and they're like the different shades of purple, but there is like a blue one and there is a green one, I think.
Are there 50 shades of purple? Okay.
They're like another, and I turn a knob on here and just like. Anyway,
Face palm.
mini toxic Nimros. So that's another new mini pet. I'm guessing that'll be potentially from the next piece of story information, because we'll talk about the Toxic Alliance more when we get a little further into it. But I have some theories about that. Other skins. Air purifier and gas mask skin. Have you guys seen these? The new.
Yes.
I think I'm wondering if they're going to be underwater masks or if they're going to be full above ground. Like I'm assuming the gas mask will be above water because that wouldn't help you underwater
I
at all.
think it's. I think it's an aqua breather.
Yeah, I was under the impression that those were aqua breather skins.
Well, they're pretty cool looking because they're like a full
Yeah.
covering, which is pretty nice. And then there was the toxic spore of the backpack skin. You guys see that?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's weird and cool.
It's just like a little toxic buddy. It just floats around behind you. Kind of
Like,
neat.
what's up?
Just like that.
Stink. You're gonna choke for a couple minutes now.
I call him Toxie, my backpack toxic thing.
Makes me think of Toxic Avenger cartoon. Not the movie, because totally different. Two totally different things.
Not sure
and
if
then there
Lagwyn
was
Ghostbuster or Splinter Cell.
Are you talking? Is that you, or is that somebody in the chat?
That's me.
No, it's Ghostbuster. See this? If I take off, I can't. I'm data mining. I need these. See, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to steal my bit. You jerk.
No.
Anyway, and then again, I'm sure you guys saw these, and if anybody has images of these, or we can we'll post them in the description. But the toxic pauldrons and the toxic gloves, did you guys see those?
Yes, they're on Wiki. I can actually give you the...
Or just post the link in there. That would be even better.
I don't think I have seen those, as a matter of fact.
I would say the best way I would describe the shoulders would be very similar to the Inferno shoulders that you get from achievement points, but like with a green texture to be sick. And Naveen just posted it in the chat there.
If you scroll down, there's new armor skins. All you have to do is like click on them and copy paste the code in game.
And Saune says the gas mask is a helm.
Interesting.
There were, and again, these were mine, but they're not really. Talk about them in a little bit. The new runes and the new sigils, pretty cool. The only other interesting things that weren't actively noticeable in the patch itself was an item called the Dream Cleaver Logging Axe, which I believe is going to be like. So. You guys know they've had the, what was it? Was the Aetherized Axe, and what was the Halloween Axe? Was there Halloween Axe? No, there wasn't.
Yeah, there hasn't been an axe yet.
So this must be, I'm assuming, the axe that goes with that, the Dream Cleaver Logging Axe.
Don't do it.
Okay.
It says a Gathering Booster may also be something. I wonder if that'll be something they'll add in, like a we have the Gathering Boosters, the banners, and we have them guild boosts. Perhaps that'll be an actual clickable like gem store booster, because that came up. And some interesting other things. It says guild members in this rank receive the guild tag next to their names in game. I don't know if they're going to adjust some of the guild functions where you can have people be in your guild but not have the tag show up.
That's what it sounds like, which I guess is kind of cool. Like it.
Guild Harlows confirms.
No, don't listen to her. She can cause some trouble.
Troublemaker.
And the only other thing was some strings that somebody else, not that shaman, the Zed on Reddit, and Bromms brought this to my attention. It was a string that was pulled out that says, anytime players loot coins, 5% is deposited into the guild stash, requires Architecture Guild Stash. Your party has too many players to travel there. Do you wish to leave your party and travel separately? Closed parties only allow members that the leader has invited to join. The leader will never receive a request to join this party and will not show in the party search. And so, let's start back at the top there. It sounds like you might be able to set up so that anytime any member in your guild loots a corpse, 5% of the gold loot gets deposited directly to your guild stash, which I feel is pretty cool. That's a pretty neat thing, because I doubt most people are going to miss 5% of lootable gold, because you don't loot that much when you kill things. So, if you have a large-sized guild, 5% going in from every member could turn out to be a sizable amount. That'd be really good if you're still in the process of upgrading your guild to buy influence or to do, throw parties or whatnot. But yeah, I would like it to be something that guild, like Alec Carolina said here in the chat, that you opt into, because you don't want to force people to give up gold, because that's not cool.
No.
Exactly.
So if they want to, sure. But,
I can't imagine that they would make it a mandatory thing. That would be silly.
Your mom is silly. No, she's not. She's a very nice lady.
Thanks, Naveen.
You're welcome.
The only other thing that I saw was, blank rolls, blank number on a blank-sided die, which sounds like they're gonna. I don't know if you guys remember in Guild Wars 1, that was an option. You could roll dice. It was one of /roll, and then you would put like a number and then a number of the sides of the die, so it would allow you to roll dice.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember hero battles, Naveen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back before they, or Bromms too, I guess, before they got rid of those, where you could go in and it was like PvP where it was you and your 3 heroes versus the other member and their 3 heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And they eventually did away with that and kind of molded that into the annex arena and did away with that. I used to remember going in on the days when they used to have the double hero battle reward weekends, and what would happen was everybody would just go into the map and then hit roll on a 100-sided die, and whoever came out with the higher number would just leave the match, or whoever came out with the higher number would win, and then the other person would leave the match. And the mechanic was, if someone came in, the match started, and then you left, you automatically won. So, like, you would just go in, roll a die, whoever got the lower number just left, and then that other person would get 2 hero win points for that. So we would just do that all weekend, just roll die, and then rack up your hero points to get your Guild Wars 1 PvP up. They did away with that. Sorry, Guild Wars 1 players. It's rough, I know. It's been gone for like 2 years. Still not over it. I do have 3. Well, this is going to be fun. 3 images that came up that were at the bottom of the of that Reddit thread, and I'm not too familiar, so I'm going to rely on the viewers to tell me what these are for. If you guys know, if I can find where my mouse is in this limited vision that I've got here, because some of these loading screens, I believe I already know what they are, but I haven't done too much of the new content yet, which we'll talk about in a minute, to know what they're from. So check out those loading screens and let me know what you think. If you guys have seen them, if you know where they're from, if you think they're going to have to do with what's coming in 2 weeks from now.
The first one I think is Kessex.
Is that just Kessex Hills? That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I wasn't too sure because the last time I spawned in, I just went directly to that instance, so I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, that's also what Saune says. The first is New Kessex. Second is the first story instance. 3, I don't know yet.
Okay. Alright, so we know what the first 2 are. The third one, we are unawares.
The second one is a story instance.
Yeah, the first instance.
Where Casimir is showing off the light between her boobs.
Maybe that's how she hooked Marjorie.
She's like, look at this. And then Marge was like, oh, sugar. Right.
Like I said,
I think that's exactly what happened.
I am Iron Casimir. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I am Iron Casimir, showing off the light between my breasts. Wob, wob, wob. Wob, 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 whiz, whiz, whiz.
I think he just gave up halfway through that.
Yes, because I was thinking about something else. Adding lyrics to dubstep, Iron Man doesn't work.
Anyway, so that's it for the news. Let's just kind of gloss over this the patch. So what did you guys think so far out of what you've done?
Fun! It's super fun! I love it. Okay. Here's my experience on the first patch. So, like, just like, oh.
Oh, go ahead. I'm very intrigued.
Done. No, so the patch hit, and I was super excited to go in. And I set up a team, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys, we have to do this, and we have to stream it, and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, we ended up not streaming because I was done with the stream anyways. So set up a team, only to find out that it was a solo instance. When you go into Kessex Hills, you get instantaneously ported there. And so I was like, oh no, because I'm scared doing stuff by myself. So, but then I started, being part of the story, the new lore, and it kind of looked cool, and the new Kessex Hills looked amazing. And then, to my surprise, when I killed something, it went on a downed state, and you had to finish it. And I'm like, what? Is this a thing now? Are they gonna bring this into PvE? And I got really, really excited. And I think on this, it's either you like it or you hate it. Some people say, like, why did they bring this into PvE? And I actually really, really love it because I don't get to use my finishers very often. Because I don't PvP or World vs. World very, very often. So that's kind of a new incentive for me to go and get new finishers, which I got on the gem store because of that. So I was really excited about that. And then, yeah, the whole new lore stuff that comes. And then I don't want to call it a Scarlet event type of thing, but it seems to me like it is very similar, where, you know, stuff happens out there in the world and you just have to like kind of destroy it before time runs out. And yeah, but it was really cool. And the fact that it expanded on other maps next to Kessex Hills, not just in Kessex Hills, that is really cool. I think that I said really cool too many times, but it's a really dark patch and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely think I like that you can just see on the main map that Kessex is all colored differently.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And some people said there's a couple things mentioned in chat and about, you know, good luck trying to get guild missions. Poobadoo is right in the middle of the giant crate tower. Like if he's swimming in the water,
Yeah.
good luck trying to get Poobadoo. Used to be the easy one. Good luck, because you're gonna be hit with toxin and boosted up crate while trying to fight down poor little Poobadoo. But anyway, Bromms, let's hear from you.
I really like it. I love the fact that they actually had something change a zone. And I really, really hope that they stick with it. It doesn't go away after this is over.
Mm-hmm.
I could see maybe the tower crumbling or something, but the changes to the zone I think should stay, because this is kind of what we all have talked about wanting from a living story. Is it changes the world, and this is really the first time. Well, there was like South Sun where they built some huts and stuff, but this just seems more dire than a lot of the other living story things we've had.
Mm-hmm.
I love the downstates on the NPCs. I really hope they do that more, because they will come over to res their downed people. So like you'll see Crate coming from really far away to come and res some of the Toxic Alliance guys.
Like, oh no, the NPCs are intelligent.
It makes it feel like there's a measure of strategy there that wasn't there before. So you actually have to work on finishing off the things that you killed instead of just shooting at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the content, I like it so far. There's not really much to do with the tower yet. I think that's coming down the road.
Yeah.
But right now it's just those little individual instances where you collect all the, I don't know, the toxic flower things or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot.
I have two things to say. First off, new
Two.
healing skill. Two things to say. A healing skill, new healing skill, which you can get with 25 skill points. Or you can always get it for 5 gold and 250 of those pristine toxin flower, whatever, which is ridiculous. Just get your skill points, which you probably have like 100 and something if you're not spending skill points left and right. Second thing, I forgot.
I'm going to pull up on your second thing then, because Switchy just mentioned it.
Okay.
There are the hallucinations now, and I don't know if you guys have spent a lot of time with those. It's not just the visual hallucinations, and it bugged me for the longest time because I'd be playing the game and I'd hear this cat meowing, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I was looking out my window trying to find where this cat was, because there are stray cats that run around our neighborhood all the time. And then it finally hit me that it was part of the hallucination thing. And I was like, that is awesome.
I know. I was like, to my husband, I was like, why is LED, why does she keep meowing? What is wrong with her? And he's like, I don't know. And we were both playing and hearing the same cat. And eventually I'm like, wait a minute, it's in the game. Like, I'm hallucinating.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was very good.
I would love if they did more with the hallucinations, like make people that were friendly look like enemies, or make it so only you saw an enemy, so you're like freaking out shooting something and no one else can see what you're shooting at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a cool thing to have those kind of just. It's different. It's different than anything they've done before. It's really cool.
Yep.
No, it's and again to your guys' point before about the rezzing the down enemies, there were enemies that did this in Guild Wars 1. Some fairly early on in the game. The gargoyles, for instance, all did that. The original gargoyles.
I have to say something about the gargoyles. You're just reminding me. Oh my god, Lagwyn.
I know all about what you're gonna say.
Were you done?
I don't think he was.
I am now. Go ahead.
I'll remind you.
Okay.
Afterward.
Continue, Lagwyn.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, there were enemies in Guild Wars 1 that used to res the teammates, and that made it like that much harder. And this is kind of cool. I mean, it's not all the enemies that go down, but any of the Nightmare Court enemies that go down will get res. The crate will come over and res them, which is cool. So it's you take out the crate first, so they don't res them while you're getting beat on by the Nightmare Court person, or do you knock them down and then try to stop them from resing the crate from resing them? But yeah, it's definitely an interesting mechanic. Again, gives the PvEers a chance to show off their finishers, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so go ahead, Naveen.
So I was watching the streaming from ArenaNet the other day about the Halloween lore. And then there was someone in the chat room asking for the gargoyles. What happened to the gargoyles? Because we only see them, well, we saw them last year in the Mad King patch last year. And then, because everyone's asking, even Wooden Potatoes is still like, why the gargoyles disappear? Why can't we see any of them in Guild Wars 2? What happened between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2? And then John Ryan was there. He writes for the lore. And he said, oh, we didn't think about the gargoyles. That was just, we brought those creatures as a themed creature in Guild Wars 2. No story about their disappearance. And then the lore community of Guild Wars cried.
Yes.
So they kind of ended the stream on that note. And a lot of people were down.
Yeah, it was depressing that they just didn't seem to care about it. But again, they mention the gargoyles in Ascalon to the point where they specifically call it out in the official Guild Wars 2 timeline. There's a line for gargoyles mysteriously disappear from Ascalon. Yeah. And then again, as Wooden Potatoes has mentioned, and you can find them for yourself as well, there's a Char Priory member in, I think it's the Black Citadel, I believe, where he talks about how there used to be gargoyles here and now they're not here anymore. And yeah, basically the gargoyles that we encountered last year from the Mad King, they just needed a Halloween-themed enemy, so they made up gargoyles with no real connection whatsoever to the existing gargoyles. So
I think maybe they're lying, and maybe we need to work to bring the Mad King back, because he'll bring the gargoyles back that are trapped in his realm, and then we'll have gargoyles, and then they'll be like, oh, by the way, here's all the backstory for the gargoyles that we told you wasn't here, but it actually is. I think it's legit.
This is ArenaNet going like,
yeah, that's exactly.
Plan worked.
Wishful thinking, guys. But anyway, let's keep moving on. Other things were added. So, I'm liking the missions, the achievements that are tied to this, because they're like scavenger hunty, and again they're more traditional fetch quest type things.
Oh.
Which again was one of those things that I thought I wouldn't like, but I miss it. I like it. I like this. Run to this, go to this zone, get this. Go to this zone, get that. You don't. Most of these aren't really necessary.
No.
For progressing the story at all, but it gives me something to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm just gonna be like, oh, I did the one story instance, now I gotta wait 2 weeks to do the next piece. It's like, well, now I can run around and go do scavenger hunts, and if I want to bring people with me to go do that, if I want to go sit in this zone and wait for Crate Witch to spawn, I can do that. And it gives you something to do and, to eat up your time. Or if you're like, I'm waiting for a Crate Witch to spawn, well, let me go get all the toxic offshoots in this map or whatever.
That brings me back to the second point I forgot before. Thank you, Dolphy.net, for making these scavenger hunts so easy. Because I would be like, what shards? Wait, how many? 24? And then look in all the maps and search for them. Endless hours of frustrating. So thanks, Dolphy. You're still awesome.
I actually thanked her last night because she was running around
Got a
Queensdale.
badass over here.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Oh, God.
But no, she was actually doing the Queensdale champ train last night.
Choo-choo.
Running around doing, troll, oak-heart, boar, wasp, spider, or bandit, that whole train that you do in Queensdale for the champion bags. And I was just happened to be doing that last night because I was just trying to grind out the last few events to finish out my monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And she was leading the charge. So I was like, you make these patches bearable, so thank you.
Yeah. So I did all of them today. And then, I don't want to talk about it because it brings spoilers, especially for those who love lore. Please complete that scavenger hunt and find all the shards and go talk to that one person who says something super interesting.
All right.
Go.
Okay.
Have you done it, guys?
I have not.
Oh.
Lag, you will freak out. Go.
Okay, I'll go do that. Also, I would like to point out this is great if you have not got your Crate Killer achievement yet.
Oh, yeah.
Your Crate Slayer achievement, because you'll get it now.
Yeah.
Because I just did. So, there you go.
You're welcome.
What else? Was there much else that came in this patch? Oh, there was a new rune and a new sigil that came in that you can use those pristine toxins to make.
Yeah, the new sigil sounds good. It's
refresh my memory on that one.
I believe that it's kind of like the fire one or the air one where it's on hit or on crit. It has a chance, but it hits with torment.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And I super love the new rune because the rune is condition damage, and then the alternating one is reduced condition duration on you, I believe is what it is.
Son says 30% on crit for 8 seconds AoE torment.
There you go.
Yeah, that is awesome. I am working toward getting that because that's amazing for me. Yes.
That's amazing for Bromms.
It is, because if you do a barrage and it hits AoE torment, they either have to run out of the barrage and take torment damage or stay in it and take arrow damage. Win, yes.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here we go. The recipes. There it is. Come back. Dolphy.
Thank
yes.
you, Dolphy.net. This CoTPodcast episode brought to you by Dolphy.net. No, it isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. Not officially. It's condition damage, reduced condition duration applied to you. So grand total, that's negative 24% condition duration applied to you. And then that's about 170. Gives you about 170 condition damage, negative 24% condition duration applied to you, and gain 5 stacks of might for 10 seconds on incoming poison or torment. 20-second cooldown. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the new nourishment bonuses that you can get, pretty good too. Basically what they do is they give you plus 100 of a stat, either precision, condition damage, or power, precision, or condition damage. And then the other thing they give you is condition duration is increased by 10%. So if you're a condition-based person, you can use a toxic focusing crystal, plus 100 condition damage, and condition duration is increased by 10%. that could be pretty huge for you, especially in a PvE setting where things don't cleanse conditions.
Yeah.
You're gonna add your condition durations. Everything's extended by 10%.
That one that you mentioned before, where you whenever you get poison or torment, you get might, is awesome for necromancers because they can give themselves poison.
Yes.
I'm almost positive with one of their abilities and get might, and I don't think they can get might any other way unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge and awesome.
Sigils and runes. Yeah, but again, they are very expensive to make. Not expensive.
They're like 250 of those.
It's
whatever.
It's actually, let's see, 50. I think 50 pristine toxic spore samples, 40 lumps of primordium, 1 ecto, and 1 orichalcum ingot. So those, you want to talk about world versus world runes? Minus 12% condition duration, or minus 24% condition duration on you. I mean, that's pretty huge for running around in massive open world PvP kind of setting. Again, if you don't really use conditions, the condition damage boost isn't really going to be good for you. But I don't know. I think that could be very useful. And then the bowl of Marjorie's experimental chili gives you 50 power, 50 condition damage, and you gain might whenever you use a heal skill.
Huh.
So
cool. That's
pretty cool as well. And then just to talk over the healing, the antitoxin spray, the new heal skill. So let me see if I remember what that does. So it gives you use antitoxin to heal yourself and nearby allies, which is nice, while also removing toxic pollen, poison, torment, and confusion. It has a generic healing bonus and then healing per condition removed. So that's actually a viable heal for some classes.
Somebody on the forum was saying, and this was like yesterday, so I don't know if that's still the case, but they were saying that it only heals allies if they have those conditions on them at the time. So, but it sounds like it's not supposed to do that. It sounds like it's supposed to heal regardless. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's use antitoxin spray to heal yourself and nearby allies while also removing those things. Now, my question is, removing of those conditions, does that also remove them from your allies as well? Because it heals you for a certain amount and then heals you per condition removed. So if that's going to remove conditions from your allies as well, that's a potential to be a ton of healing. And for some classes where you don't have, like, there are some classes that don't have access to like Mesmer, for instance. They don't really have a heal skill that jumps out in my mind that's a condition removal. Even in Rangers, Rangers don't really have an immediate condition cleanse. You've got some of the sigils might, right? I know you have the ones.
Yeah,
take
one of the sigils does, and Healing Spring pulses condition removal, but it's only 1 per pulse.
And you have to be in the spring.
Yeah, you have to be in it.
And we both know that we love dodging and jumping out of the healing spring.
I know that everyone usually runs out of it. Like, I will chase people down and throw a spring down at their feet, and they will run out of it and keep running. Because white circles are bad. But
yep. Yeah, so this could be, I mean, it only removes, poison, torment, and confusion. So for those of you playing in a PvP setting, it's going to pull, a World v World, I'm sorry, I don't think this is added to PvP, but for World versus World, it'll pull poison, torment, and confusion. So those are probably, confusion and torment is huge, because confusion is one of the biggest ways to kill yourself. Because you don't realize you have it on, you just keep using skills, and then all of a sudden you're dead because you killed yourself.
Poison's pretty nasty. I mean, it cuts your healing, so that's
true too.
Already a big deal, but yeah.
Yep. Lagywn was confused. It hurt itself by accident. Anyway, I think that is it for the new content. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to mention? Did any of you guys get the obelisk shard yet in your
Not yet, no.
I think it did. You needed to do some of the dailies to be able to get it.
Probably. I didn't even go in my home instance to even put the candy stuff.
Oh, the candy
there.
corn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Still in my inventory.
Having that crate shard in there will be awesome for anyone that makes celestial armor, because it means saving a trip to Queensdale, basically, which is really nice.
Well, it's good because you can go get the quartz out of the quartz node, and then go, charge the quartz.
Yeah.
Short distance, or get a skill point.
Right.
It says. So I don't know if that's a daily thing where you get a skill point once a day that way, which would be pretty nice.
It sounds like it is, but yeah.
Well, it's not a one-off skill point.
Here's your one skill point.
Yeah. I mean, if it's one per character, that would be okay. But
it's got to be multi-use. I mean, skill points are so common now with all the achievement chest things, scrolls of knowledge, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to point out real quick that Colin Johansson had mentioned people had asked how you would be able to obtain the healing skill if you weren't here for this specific patch, and he said that it would be easier. He said it'll still be around after, but it'll just be easier to obtain it in this patch, meaning that you could use the toxin. 250 toxin spores plus 5 gold would be easier than 25 skill points. Really?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Really,
Is
Colin?
he saying the opposite, though?
He's saying that whole piece of trading in those things is gonna. I think that's gonna go away. The person to trade those, that's gonna go away after this patch is gone.
Right.
So the only way to be able to get it after this patch is to trade it in for skill points. Saying that it's easier because you can trade in the spores now, but I don't think he realizes how much easier it is to just spend 25 skill points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much easier than
plus
collecting
5 gold,
250 spores. Like, I don't want that. That's gonna take forever.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
That's right.
I would have time for that because it's pretty easy to gather 250, but still, 5 gold, I'd rather spend some of my hundreds of skill points that are just there.
Yeah. So I think that's it, right?
We have a question of the week. Like, here's your question of the week. So to bring you back to sort of like the beginning of the show, where we're talking about the new stuff in the patch, and I was so excited about the new finisher that they brought into PvE. Our question of the week is, do you think adding the finishers in PvE is a good thing or a bad thing? Let us know in the comments on our YouTube channel, or send us an email at hosts@chroniclesoftear.com. Or individually, Naveen, Lagwyn, or Bromms at chroniclesoftear.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have much else to talk about. I originally had grand plans to do something fun for Halloween, but
I ate
I don't know.
candy instead.
yeah, I haven't been feeling Halloween that much this year because the past 2 years I haven't had a Halloween, thanks to a snowstorm and Hurricane Sandy stole Halloween away from me for 2 years. So I'm not used to having a Halloween, and now I have it, and I'm like,
Oh, first world's problems.
I know. Hey, man, you don't know.
I do.
You have not worked the a million hours I had to work to put all those people's power back on.
I don't care.
It's rough.
You've never had a child. Naturally.
It's true.
So
I
don't
did
you talk
I've
to me
had one
about some
unnaturally,
kind of.
I've had
I
one
worked
unnaturally,
for so
though.
many times. I had to spend all these hours working and doing work and getting
Well,
paid
you guys
for
don't
it.
have to go to Chipotle every day and get burritos, so you don't even know how much time that takes.
First world's problems.
First burrito. Bro.
Last little thing to mention as well. The the release image for next
What
thing.
did you say it was, Lagwyn, that image?
I'll say it. If you guys click on that link, you'll see come back on November 5th for more details. And I described that image as the Scarlet Surprise Butt Sex by Crate image. So,
Oh, this podcast is rated R.
you guys can check that out and tell me what you think. That's what I get out of that.
I don't know, man. Her
Swifty
butt is
says
pretty
perfect. Again, I'll link this in the description of the YouTube thing with the, in parentheses, Scarlet Surprise Butt Sex, so that you guys know which image I'm talking about. But, thank you, Apex Complex says
Maybe the crate is just looking to embrace her lovingly. Why?
Can you feel me?
See? She's like, I'm coming up with my master plan, and the crate is like, I want hugs. It's clearly what's going on.
Yeah, that's definitely what it wants.
Why does it look like a spider? Is it a crate? It looks like a spider to me. A big spider with arms. Look, it's got like 6 eyes.
Your mom's got like 6 eyes. No, I'm kidding. Your mom's a nice lady.
No, it's just a condition. Why you gotta bring it up?
You know who else had 6 eyes?
3 people together combined.
The
Abaddon?
human
Is that where
centipede.
you're going?
No, the Abaddon stuff in Guild Wars 1.
Isn't that what I just said?
Marganites.
That's not a Marganite, I'm pretty sure. They're in the desert.
Your mom's in the desert. No, she's not. Your mom's a pretty lady.
Wow.
Don't know, you never met my mom.
Oh, I seen pictures on your Facebook because I stalk you.
What?
I'm just gonna start throwing random messages in my Facebook. Just like, if you take the capital letter from this one, and like it says hi, Naveen. Anyway, guys, so yes, make sure you tune in and check next week, but also check the Guild Wars 2 release page, November 5th, to see all the secrets about Scarlet Surprise Butt Sex release on November 5th. So
We can't wait. We can't crate.
There we go. And again, that image also confirms if anybody had any doubts that Scarlet wasn't involved, which it was pretty much not a thing, because if you go to any of the Scarlet events where her minions are attacking, there are some people are infused with like that toxic buff.
Oh.
So they're part of her.
Why
group.
the captains are so huge? Maybe.
Yeah, that's maybe.
What?
Anyway.
What?
Sugar crash.
Sugar crash.
So I think that's pretty much going to do it for us, guys.
Swifty is like, you need to glue up together a candy corn elemental in real life, like a small one. Except I don't have candy corn. Lag has it. This Lag is gonna make it elemental on the show. No, he won't, because that would take too much time now. And Bromms doesn't like candy corn.
Because he has good taste.
Because he does not have good taste.
The only problem I have with that is, what would it look like? If I mean, I can make the
Like
candy
your
corn elemental. I have
mom.
no problem with that. But how's it going to hold up? It's still just sugar.
Slick it.
Glue and what are those things called that I can't think of the name of? But paper clips. There we go.
No, I don't mean physically. How is it going to stand up? I mean, how is a bunch of candy corn going to stand the test of time? Is it just going to like?
Well, since all of the candy corn is from the 1920s, it seems to be doing just fine right now. So I think we're good. I think we got another 300 years out of it before it
Yeah, I
starts.
think
to get...
I might just have to seal it with some.
You guys in the States are very old candy corns.
I loved that song.
Maybe if I get bored this weekend and have some time, I will. I'll do a video of me making hot it'll be me burning my fingers and screaming a lot, but I'll hot glue together a candy corn elemental.
Can you do a remix of you guys in the States have really old candy corn?
Can somebody do that for us, please?
Do a dubstep remix?
You guys in the U.S. the crazy candy corn. Very old.
All right. You know what? Candy corn's gonna be on sale because it's after Halloween.
Because
so,
it's
Who
old.
likes that crap?
I will. You know what? I very well might do that and put that up because I'm getting a lot of requests from people to do it. So I might actually make that a thing. Also, just in case you guys saw in game, you know, you can trade in 1,000 pieces of candy corn for a candy corn cob.
Yeah, that's crazy town.
Candy corn on a cob.
To make yourself a real life candy corn cob, just take some white, like you're gonna make cookies, like a white or a sugar cookie mix, and make the cookie dough up and cut it into the size of the candy corn you want, and then just stick all the candy corn in it, and then you've got a candy corn cob.
It's very crafty.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere. And I was like, too much sugar. See, I had like 2 rockets, a crunchy, and a lollipop, and I was high. And I got a Pokeball to catch you guys with it. Yeah, yo.
Master Ball. I don't mess around. I'll catch anything.
Yeah, well, mine is homemade.
I don't even have anything round. I have a marker.
Like Cardelina's like, suddenly you see why they call it candy corn.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming out for episode 69. 69. Maturity levels.
Maturity level of this podcast is low. Like
so yeah.
your mom. I'm sorry, she's a very nice lady. I can't
I'm
stop.
I think I'm Bromms. I don't know anymore.
I'm Naveen.
And we'll see you next time.
Like 5